Hello, I'm Hope Logan. I am an actor on Bold and the Beautiful, and many people really love both me and our Bold and the Beautiful drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved Bold and the Beautiful. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. The drama surrounding the Logan family was already simmering beneath the surface, but in true fashion, the tension inside the world of the Bold and the Beautiful was about to explode into something far more dangerous. At the center of it all stood Donna Logan Forrester, caught in a storm she never wanted to be part of, holding a secret so shocking that it threatened to tear apart loyalties, families, and the fragile peace inside Forrester Creations. Donna had just witnessed a moment that could change everything forever, a moment that unfolded quietly behind closed doors, yet carried the power to ignite absolute chaos once it came to light. Against Donna's wishes, Hope Logan Spencer sat down and signed a contract that pledged her future to a completely different path, officially tying herself to Katie Logan Spencer's fashion house. It was a stunning move that nobody at Forrester Creations would ever expect, especially considering the emotional history and deep family divisions already lingering beneath the surface. Donna watched every second of it unfold with growing dread in her chest, realizing instantly that this wasn't just a business decision anymore. This was the beginning of a war waiting to happen. The weight of that secret settled heavily on Donna almost immediately, and the deeper she thought about it, the more impossible it became for her to breathe easily. She had desperately hoped Hope would walk away from the offer that Katie, Bill Spencer, and Liam Spencer had placed in front of her, believing there was still time to stop this before it became irreversible. But now the ink was dry, the contract was signed, and Hope's future had officially shifted in a direction that would send shockwaves through the entire Forrester empire. Donna knew exactly what kind of destruction this revelation could unleash once the truth reached the wrong ears. She could already imagine the stunned silence inside the design office, the furious confrontations, and the painful betrayal that Brooke Logan Forrester would feel once she discovered what her own daughter had done in secret. And perhaps worst of all, Donna understood that every minute this truth remained hidden would only make the eventual fallout even more devastating. The longer Hope waited to confess, the deeper the wound would cut when it was finally exposed. As the emotional pressure continued building around her, Donna found herself trapped between love, loyalty, and guilt in a way that left her emotionally exhausted. Katie, Bill, and Liam were depending on both Hope and Donna to keep the contract hidden for now, believing secrecy was the only way to control the damage before the right moment arrived. But secrets inside the Logan family rarely stay buried for long, especially when emotions begin spiraling out of control. Donna could already feel the tension growing around her like a ticking time bomb, and every conversation with Brooke only intensified the guilt she carried. Brooke had no idea that such a life-changing betrayal was unfolding right under her nose, and Donna feared the devastation that would wash over her sister once the truth finally came out. At the same time, Donna also worried about the Forresters, knowing they would see Hope's decision as nothing less than a betrayal of the family business itself. No matter which side she looked at, somebody she loved was going to end up shattered by this revelation, and Donna was quickly realizing there might not be any safe way out. The emotional strain becomes even more dangerous as new spoilers for the May 28th episode hint that Donna will soon find herself tangled directly in the growing Logan rivalry. The tension between Brooke and Katie threatens to rise to explosive new levels, and Donna may end up standing right in the middle of the battlefield as emotions erupt around her from every direction. Every family gathering, every quiet conversation, and every passing moment becomes loaded with anxiety as Donna struggles to keep the truth buried. But the pressure of carrying such a massive secret can push even the calmest person to their breaking point, and Donna may soon discover that silence is becoming impossible. The fear, the stress, and the emotional conflict could overwhelm her so completely that she blurts out the truth before she even realizes what she's done, and if that happens, the fallout would be immediate and catastrophic. One single confession could ignite the latest wave of hostility between Brooke and Katie, reopening old wounds and creating brand new ones that may never heal. At the same time, there's also the haunting possibility that Donna might make a deliberate choice to reveal the truth herself. After all, perhaps there was a reason the story placed Donna in that room to witness Hope signing the contract in the first place. Maybe this wasn't just about observation, but about setting Donna up as the emotional trigger for the chaos that's coming next. As the days pass and the burden grows heavier, Donna may begin feeling like she's betraying Brooke and the entire Forrester family simply by staying silent. Every moment she keeps Hope's secret could start to feel like a lie of its own, eating away at her conscience and pushing her closer to the edge. Donna has always valued honesty and family above all else, and carrying a deception this large may ultimately become too painful for her to endure. At some point, the emotional pressure may simply break her, leading her to refuse to stay quiet any longer. And when that moment comes, the truth about Hope's shocking company switch could finally explode into the open in the most dramatic way imaginable. No matter how or when the revelation finally happens, one thing has already become painfully clear. Hope's decision is going to trigger fierce reactions throughout the entire Bold and the Beautiful world. Loyalties will be questioned, relationships will be tested, and old family wounds may reopen with even greater intensity than before. The Logan family is heading toward another emotional collision course, and Donna now stands dangerously close to the center of the storm. Every secret glance, every uncomfortable silence, and every delayed confession is building toward a moment that promises heartbreak, betrayal, and explosive confrontation. And as tensions continue rising inside both the Logan and Forrester families, viewers can already sense that this is only the beginning of a much larger emotional battle. Because in a world where family loyalty and business ambition are constantly at war, one hidden contract may be powerful enough to change everything forever. As the days moved forward, the atmosphere inside Forrester Creations slowly began to change in subtle but unmistakable ways, like the uneasy calm that settles over the ocean before a violent storm crashes onto shore. Donna Logan Forrester tried desperately to act normal, but the secret she carried was beginning to consume her from the inside out. Every time Brooke Logan Forrester smiled at her with trust in her eyes, Donna felt another wave of guilt tighten around her chest. Brooke had no idea that Hope Logan Spencer had already made a decision capable of shaking the foundation of everything they had fought to protect. Meanwhile, Hope herself was struggling beneath the emotional weight of her own choice, attempting to convince herself that signing with Katie Logan Spencer's fashion house had been the right move. Yet no matter how much she tried to focus on the future, she couldn't escape the growing fear of what would happen once the Forresters discovered the truth. The silence surrounding the contract was becoming unbearable, and every passing hour only made the eventual explosion feel more inevitable. At the center of the brewing tension stood Katie Logan Spencer, who believed she was finally building something powerful enough to step out from the shadows that had followed her for years. For once, Katie wasn't simply reacting to the chaos around her. She was creating an opportunity of her own, and bringing Hope into her fashion house felt like a bold declaration that she could stand independently from Forrester Creations. Bill Spencer and Liam Spencer fully supported the move, convinced that Hope deserved a fresh start far away from the endless drama and judgment she had faced. To them, this wasn't betrayal, it was survival. They believed Hope had been pushed aside for too long and deserved a place where her talent and vision would finally be appreciated without conditions. But even as Katie celebrated privately, she understood the danger looming over all of them. The moment Brooke learned the truth, the fragile balance between the Logan sisters could collapse into open war, and Katie knew there would be no easy way to repair the damage afterward. Back inside the Forrester offices, the emotional undercurrents were already beginning to shift, even though nobody yet understood why. Ridge Forrester sensed tension hanging in the air, while other members of the family noticed Donna's nervous behavior and growing inability to focus. She became quieter during meetings, more distracted during conversations, and visibly uncomfortable whenever Hope's name entered the discussion. The pressure was crushing her piece by piece, and it was becoming harder to hide the fear written across her face. Every time Brooke talked proudly about Hope's future or mentioned plans involving Forrester Creations, Donna felt her stomach twist with dread. She knew Brooke's heartbreak would be devastating once she realized her daughter had made such a massive decision without confiding in her. Worse still, Donna feared Brooke would interpret the secrecy as a personal betrayal, not just from Hope, but from Katie, and perhaps even from Donna herself. The emotional consequences were no longer theoretical anymore. They were rapidly approaching, and Donna could feel the countdown ticking louder with every moment. Hope, meanwhile, found herself trapped in an emotional limbo between excitement and overwhelming guilt. Part of her genuinely believed she was finally taking control of her own destiny after spending so much time caught between family expectations and corporate politics. Joining Katie's fashion house represented freedom, independence, and the chance to rebuild her identity on her own terms. But another part of her couldn't ignore the painful reality that her decision would deeply wound the people she still loved. She knew Brooke would feel blindsided, and she understood the Forresters would likely see her departure as an unforgivable betrayal. That fear haunted her constantly, especially during quiet moments when the excitement faded, and all that remained was anxiety about the storm waiting ahead. Even Liam, despite supporting her choice, could see the emotional exhaustion beginning to wear her down. And as Hope wrestled with those conflicting emotions, Donna continued standing dangerously close to her breaking point. Eventually, the emotional pressure surrounding Donna grows so intense that even the smallest conversations begin to feel dangerous. A simple family discussion could suddenly spiral into confrontation if the wrong question is asked. One emotional glance from Brooke could crack Donna's fragile control. The burden of protecting Hope's secret begins isolating her emotionally from the very people she loves most, and the guilt becomes impossible to silence. Donna starts realizing that by hiding the truth, she may actually be making the situation far worse than it needs to be. The longer everyone remains in the dark, the more explosive the fallout will become once the truth finally surfaces. And deep down, Donna understands something terrifying. Secrets inside the Logan family never stay hidden forever. Sooner or later, the truth always finds its way into the light, no matter how desperately people try to bury it. And when that inevitable moment finally arrives, it threatens to unleash emotional devastation across every corner of the family. Brooke's trust may shatter instantly as she realizes how many people knew about Hope's decision before she did. Katie's determination to protect Hope could ignite fierce battles between the sisters, reopening years of emotional scars and unresolved resentment. The Forresters may see Hope's company switch as an act of disloyalty that changes how they view her forever. And at the center of it all stands Donna, the reluctant keeper of a secret that has grown far too heavy for one person to carry alone. The closer the truth gets to the surface, the more unstable everything becomes, and viewers can already feel the emotional explosion building with unstoppable force. Because in the world of the bold and the beautiful, one signature on a contract is never just business. It's personal, emotional, and powerful enough to destroy relationships that once seemed unbreakable. The emotional storm surrounding Hope Logan Spencer's shocking decision continues to grow darker with every passing moment, and soon the tension becomes impossible for anyone to ignore. What began as a carefully guarded secret hidden between a small circle of trusted people is now threatening to spill into every corner of the Logan and Forrester families. Donna Logan Forrester feels the pressure tightening around her from all sides, and the emotional exhaustion she has been carrying is beginning to show more openly than ever before. She can barely look Brooke Logan Forrester in the eyes without feeling consumed by guilt, knowing that the woman standing in front of her still has no idea how dramatically her world is about to change. Every family conversation now feels loaded with hidden meaning. Every mention of hope sends Donna's anxiety spiraling higher, and every passing hour makes the truth feel more dangerous. The secret has taken on a life of its own, growing heavier and more destructive the longer it remains hidden. And beneath the polished surface of family unity, cracks are already beginning to spread. For Brooke, the situation remains painfully calm on the outside, but viewers can sense the heartbreak waiting just beyond the horizon. She continues believing Hope's future is still connected to Forrester Creations, trusting that her daughter would never make such a massive life decision without confiding in her first. Brooke has always defended Hope fiercely, especially during moments when others questioned her judgment or doubted her intentions. That unwavering loyalty is exactly why the betrayal will cut so deeply once the truth finally comes out. It won't simply be about business or fashion lines or company contracts. Brooke will feel emotionally blindsided by the realization that Hope chose secrecy over honesty and allowed others to know before her own mother did. The pain of that discovery could reopen old insecurities Brooke has spent years trying to bury, especially when it comes to the complicated dynamics within her own family. And if Brooke begins to believe Katie played a role in pulling Hope away behind her back, the emotional fallout between the sisters could become absolutely explosive. Meanwhile, Katie Logan Spencer continues moving forward with cautious determination, trying to focus on building a future that finally belongs to her. For years, Katie has lived in the shadow of stronger personalities and larger family conflicts, but now she sees this fashion house as a chance to prove herself on her own terms. Bringing Hope on board wasn't just a business move, it was a statement. It symbolized trust, belief, and the possibility of creating something independent from the constant influence of Forrester Creations. Yet even as Katie pushes ahead, she can feel the tension creeping closer. She knows Brooke well enough to understand how painful this revelation will be, and part of her fears the damage may be irreversible once emotions erupt. Bill Spencer remains convinced they made the right choice, believing Hope deserves the freedom to rebuild her career without being trapped by old expectations. Liam Spencer stands firmly beside Hope as well, determined to support her no matter how chaotic the aftermath becomes. But support may not be enough to shield any of them once the truth detonates inside the family. As for Hope, the emotional conflict inside her becomes more intense with every passing day. At first, signing the contract brought a rush of empowerment and relief, a feeling that she was finally reclaiming control over her own future after so much uncertainty and disappointment. But now, that excitement is slowly being overshadowed by dread. She knows the silence cannot last forever, and the closer she gets to revealing the truth, the more terrified she becomes of losing the people she still desperately cares about. Hope understands exactly how Brooke will react, and she fears seeing disappointment in her mother's eyes more than almost anything else. At the same time, she also worries about how the Forresters will respond, especially if they interpret her move as a direct rejection of everything they built together. The emotional stakes are growing higher by the day, and Hope is beginning to realize that no matter how justified her decision may feel, it will still come with painful consequences. In trying to create a new future for herself, she may have unknowingly set off a chain reaction capable of damaging the relationships she values most. And through all of it, Donna remains trapped in the center of the chaos, carrying a burden that is slowly pushing her toward an emotional breaking point. She never wanted to become the keeper of such a devastating secret, yet now she finds herself standing between two sides of the family, terrified of hurting everyone involved. The guilt has become almost unbearable. Every moment she stays silent feels like another betrayal against Brooke and the Forresters, but exposing the truth would instantly ignite the very destruction she has been trying to prevent. It becomes a painful emotional paradox with no safe solution, and Donna's fear grows stronger that she may eventually lose control completely. Perhaps it will happen during an emotional argument. Perhaps Brooke will notice Donna's strange behavior and demand answers. Or perhaps the stress will simply overwhelm her so suddenly that the truth slips out before she can stop herself. However it happens, the sense of inevitability surrounding the secret is becoming impossible to escape. The deeper this storyline moves into dangerous territory, the clearer it becomes that Hope's career move is about far more than a simple contract. This is a story about loyalty, trust, ambition, family wounds, and the painful cost of secrecy. Every character involved is walking an emotional tightrope, trying desperately to protect the people they love while also defending the choices they believe are right. But in the world of the bold and the beautiful, hidden truths rarely stay buried for long, and when they finally explode into the open, the consequences tend to change lives forever. Now the countdown toward that inevitable confrontation has truly begun. Emotions are rising, tensions are tightening, and the Logan family is moving closer and closer toward a moment that could leave permanent scars behind. Because once the truth about Hope's shocking company switch finally comes to light, nobody's relationships may survive unchanged.